Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Lucore Automotive. Today, we are clearly not at Lucore Automotive. We're over here visiting a friend that we met on Power Tour this year. Very, very briefly, I think you saw in the background of our very last day video for just a moment. But he is the owner of this very cool Dodge Duster, and he's near us, so I figured, hey man, we need to show off some other people's cool stuff. Reached out to him on Instagram, and now we're here. So Cale, say hi to all of our Lucore people.
Hello, people.
Yeah, so I brought the AMX because it's an equally cool. These were probably two of the more interesting and cool cars on the Power Tour this year.
I'd say so. Probably two of the less common makes and models.
Yes, definitely turn a lot of heads. They have a lot in spirit together.
No pun intended.
Yes, pun intended. He even gets that. Don't you love this guy already? So yeah, we're gonna spend a couple of minutes over here talking with this guy and seeing. Oh, by the way, if you didn't notice, he's got something else hiding in the back. So stay tuned. This should be cool. All right, Cale. So good to see you. Thanks for having us over.
Of course.
Tell me about your Duster here, man. This thing's wicked. Like, just straight wicked. I absolutely love this thing.
Well, starting with the obvious here, it's 72 Plymouth Duster that, what was it, 2.5 years ago now, I found on, well, my buddy actually found on Craigslist. He knew I was looking for a Duster, and it was all the way down in New Mexico. So he sent me the ad. Long story, he went to go look at it. Super cool. Actually towed it back to his place, held it there for a month until me and my dad could go down there. And then in under 72 hours, me and my dad drove from Chicago to Albuquerque, New Mexico on Route 66, picked this up, and drove it back on Route 66 as well.
Wow.
And it just kind of went downhill, I guess, from there. I mean, the first, I guess, Duster 1.0, let's see, started out, it needed a new floor, so I did a whole new one-piece floor pan in it. Did a trunk floor as well. I did a quarter panel on the driver's side there, and then just kind of cleaned up everything, repainted everything underneath. Like, it was pretty decent. Like, I did the spoiler and everything, and then rebuilt the Slant 6 that was in it. So, you know, making like a whopping 120 horsepower with 500,000 miles on it. And then drove it, literally, it was my only car at the time, and still is up until 2 months ago. But drove it through Chicago winter all year long.
Hold on, pause. Daily driver.
Yes. Yes, legitimate daily driver. I put 16,000 miles on it in the first year I had it running and driving.
That's awesome.
Yeah, drove it, you know, a couple states, couple events and everything. And then while I was driving it, I was saving up and building, well, this is where half the viewers turn away, but I was saving up and building this thing underneath here, as you can see right there. And then last October, well, Duster, I guess 2.0 here was born. So stock bottom end 5.3 LS, heads, cam, intake, pretty run-of-the-mill LS, nothing super crazy. Regasket, you know, pretty much everything like that. Then I ended up building my own cam member and mounts for the engine here, because obviously no one makes a kit for this or anything like that. And then it just kind of progressively got more and more involved. So I put a T5 5-speed back there of a 93 Firebird. I had to make a cross member for that and everything, and then cut into my brand new floor and make a new trans tunnel for that. Did a Holley Terminator X system on it up front here. And then I got a quick ratio 14:1. Still manual steering, because I prefer manual steering, but it's quick ratio, so it actually handles pretty well. QA1 stuff all up front. Did disc brake conversion here as well. And then, yeah, it just kind of keeps going back from there. So threw the car up on stands, undercoated everything underneath, powder coated and painted all the suspension. Ended up building a Mopar 8.25 rear end for it that me and my dad put 355s and a posi unit in. That was actually really cool to do, and I'm glad I got to actually build that, and it's working so far. So that was pretty fun. Under here you also see, did a whole new fuel system for the car. So me and my dad also built a all new stainless brake system and fuel system for it, like kind of custom fit to this, because I don't like how factory lines are run. I'm really picky about that stuff. And then sheet metal wise, Did a new tail panel here, new quarter on that side. Let's see, like I said, floor, did a trunk floor and everything. And yeah, just, it's officially all rust free now. And the last thing sheet metal wise I did on this car, actually, the week before Power Tour, was I cut out this section of the cowl right here, grafted in a new cowl, and then repatinaed it all. So
Nice.
that's a quick rundown of what the past 3 years of my life have been consumed by.
So, as part of the Old Farts Club, I just want to say, one of the main reasons I wanted to come out and talk to this gentleman, he's 18. And he's doing this stuff. We always complain about, oh, the younger generation, you know, they're not getting interested in cars anymore. Here you go, guys. This is exactly what keeps our hobby alive. This young man saved this car from the desert, has turned it into this freaking thing, which is, I'll be honest, I daily drive that thing or my 70 Pontiac all the time. This is probably cooler. And that takes a lot to say that. But, like, how freaking cool is this? And you're doing all the work yourself. It's not like you're subbing the workout. This is your passion. This is what you want to go to school for. This is what you want to do. Like, this is your thing.
Yep, me and my dad built this in our garage here, and like you said, it is my actual daily, besides the salt.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's...
But you're going to need to figure that out rather quickly.
Yes.
That's awesome. And yeah, it has an LS under the hood, and I'm sure you get tons of crap for that, especially from the Mopar people.
Well, they're a different breed, so I don't associate with them.
I get it. But there's some legitimate reasons to doing an LS swap.
Yeah.
You know, this came with a slant 6 in it, which is, sorry Mopar people, but it's worthless.
The leaning tower of no power.
Yes.
Emphasize the no.
But even if you wanted to make it powerful, ish,
you could.
You could, but you're going to spend a boatload of money making something terrible slightly less terrible.
Accurate.
Or you could start from something that's damn good, spend a bit more money, and make it fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's a totally daily drivable. You get almost twice the fuel economy out of that that I get out of that.
Really?
You make twice the power out of this that I make out of that. And have probably roughly the same money. I've got $4,500 in that motor.
Oh, and that engine? In the engine alone, yeah, I probably have around there. Yeah, I'd say so. Just the engine itself. Yeah.
So you're probably smarter than I am.
Well, you probably don't get the death threats and name calling, but you know.
I had to promise this guy I wasn't going to put an LS in this. Otherwise, he wouldn't have sold me the car.
Well.
So. It is what it is, right? So, anyway, you also see here in the background Cale's next project, which is on your YouTube channel, which is
CAM Racing.
CAM Racing. Same as his Instagram. Same as the sticker that's on here, which is a great name for a race team, by the way. But also, consequently, your initials.
All right, yeah, I'll give the story.
Okay.
So, yeah, Cam is my initials. Cale's first name. I was named after Cale Yarborough, NASCAR driver. So that's why I see the 11 here. Yeah, I'm a big Dale Earnhardt fan, okay. And that's why I see the 11 here on the side. I also was born on the 11th. It's stupid, but it all ties together here. And actually, on some of my dad's dirt track cars, when I was like this tall, you can see me sitting on the fender, and he put CAM Racing on the fender. So it's been a thing for a while. And then one of my projects in 7th grade computer class was I made this logo, because at the time I was building an AMC Rebel model car. And I was really big into that for a while. I put a Hellcat in it as a model car. So I made that logo for the model car, and then I just always had it around and I put it on there. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's the story behind that.
That's awesome. So, we're going to stick with the Mopar theme here. What in the heck and where in the heck did you find this?
So this is what is left of a 70 Dodge Charger. And my dream car forever, since I was a child. My dad made the mistake of showing me Dukes of Hazzard when I was a child, and I literally grew up watching that on DVD on his laptop. I'm not even joking. So my dream car's always been a 69 Charger, right? Always been a dream car. I mean, this is orange and black, you know. You kind of get
I get the theme. I get the theme.
It comes from, right?
Yeah.
Budget generally. And yeah, so what was it, a month and a half ago now, 4th of July, I was heading over to a buddy's house just over the border in Indiana here, and taking back roads like I always do. One, it's more fun, and then you can find stuff like this. Like I have a whole map in my phone of stuff I found, you know, relatively close area. Just drop a pin, label it, cool, whatever. Did the same thing with this, and I was driving by, I literally saw like this corner of the tail light just sticking out, and heart dropped immediately. Like no joke, it was like out of a movie. Just put it in neutral, slammed on the brakes, turned around, and just went by, like snapped the picture. You know, I was like that's the coolest thing ever. Well, long story short, on my way home from my buddy's house, and like I don't know, 7, 8 o'clock, I actually ended up stopping there, and it was very sketchy. But I went up to the door, knocked on it, and the gentleman actually answered. And I was like, you know, hey, like, you know, my name's Cale, I build cars and whatnot. I was like, do you mind if I just take a look at your cars on the side here? He's like, yeah, no problem. He walked back there with me. He had this 69 RSSS Camaro, ooh, 64 429, or I'm sorry, 427 4-speed Impala that he put in there when he was a kid. Not 429, 427. And then he had a 70, what was it? He had a 71 Camaro that had center lines and like a chrome cage and like, you know, like midnight purple, like tint, like totally 70s.
Straight out of late 70s, early 80s.
It was so cool to see all these cars there. And he was just like, before I even said anything, I was like, hey, I just want to look at them. And just straight up, he just told me, he's like, nothing's for sale but the Charger. And at that point, I'm just like, my heart just started pounding, and I'm just like, all right, maybe this will happen. Like, no way did I think up that day, or wake up that day thinking I would see this, let alone own it by midnight. So I walk around, I'm like, hey, you know, that's cool and everything. I'm like, if you were to sell it, what would you want for it? And he was like, I don't know. He's like, I was probably just gonna like scrap it. And then I was like, at this point, like my heart's pounding extra, right? And I'm like, yeah, like, well, what do you think you could get for scrap? And he's like, I don't know, maybe like $200-300. And I'm just like, okay. I'm like, well, would you take $2,000 for it if I got it out of here this week? He's like, I'm in no rush to get it out of here, but yeah. He's like, I wouldn't mind doing that. And like at this point, I'm just like trying not to jump up and down, right? So we walk around the car a little bit more. We go inside, I give him like my name and the number. He actually has the keys. And he gives me the keys because he's like, you know, he's like, I'm not going to get rid of this. He's like, if you come back this weekend and get it, he's like, no problem. He's like, I'll have a title for you by then. I'm like, oh, okay. And then he's like, you mind if I see your other car? Because I was driving the Duster. And we went out and looked at it. He's like, I'll tell you what. And he was like, you know, you seem like you get these cars back on the road and everything. And he seemed genuinely happy kind of when I told him the story about the Charger. Yeah. And I'm like, that's cool because, you know, not a lot of people like actually, you know, seem genuinely excited or happy about like the story of that stuff. And he's like, I'll tell you what. He's like, I hope 2's not too much for you. And I'm like, no, not a problem, right? Like, I'll come up with it. Don't worry. Right. And he's like, is $1,000 okay with you? And I'm just like, oh, dude. Like, I'm like straight up like not. Oh, I was like shocked. Literally, I didn't know what to say. And I was like, yeah, no problem. But long story short, called my friend Kevin, who was gracious enough to come out there. He lived like 20 minutes down the road with his trailer, and we drug it out of there that night. Probably took us 4 or 5 hours. 3 out of 4 wheels were locked up, you know, as per usual. Of course, yeah. The keys were actually still in the ignition, so we were able to turn the wheel, which is pretty cool. And then, yeah, made a mess in the poor guy's front yard, loading it up, and we helped him clean it up and everything. He was super cool about it. He seemed happy that I guess it was That's going. Awesome. And then I guess, I don't know, it was going to me. So I told him I'll go back with it one day. Yeah. Runs and drives and pay him the visit. So. It's a little ways from running and driving. Just a touch. Just a bit. Just a touch. But so yeah. You've been, I think this is what we just saw on your YouTube channel. Yep, that's correct. So I just replaced the torsion bar cross member here. That was kind of the big first step because not much of it existed. I mean, the entire corners where it connects, you know, to the rockers and the front frame rails were gone. So yeah. The only thing holding this car together was what was left of the floor. So I've had it here in this space for about a month now that I've actually been working on it. So tore it all down, cut the entire floor out. Which is, you've also got, yeah, bits and pieces here. Yeah, it's cool shop art. Guys, I don't know if you noticed this. This is not a real big garage. Like, this is not like rich kid rebuilding a car in like a fully furnished shop here. This is like young man
doing it himself in a storage locker.
We're trying to make something happen, yeah.
Dude, how much more hardcore and I'm gonna do it myself does it get than this?
10 by 20 storage unit. Yeah.
That's freaking awesome, dude. You are inspirational. That is fantastic.
120 outlet that I have to run a 100-foot extension cord all the way around the corner to power up the shop. I power up the lights up here that are zip tied to the ceiling. That also power the welder. That power the grinder. That power my phone charger, the fan. How I haven't popped a breaker or burned this poor guy's storage unit down, I don't know. But
that's fantastic.
I just find it hilarious.
Hey, make do with what you have and what you can do, man.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's going to be a bit. This is going to be a project, and you're going to film and share this whole thing.
Every single piece of it from the day I picked it up until, well, whatever happens, until the day it drives, and then on from there. So yeah.
Absolutely. Those of you who are paying attention to our channel, which if you're here, you're probably paying attention to our channel, are seeing Katrina's 1973 Dodge Charger come back to life. We just recently did the engine bay painting and got ready to put her 451 stroker in the car. That was originally a 318 car. Somebody previously before us had swapped in that old, tired, terrible 400 big block that's in there. So it came with an 8 1/4 rear end. It was a small 318 car to begin with, and you initially had thought this was a 318 car.
Yeah, the owner told me it was a 318 car, and the reason he parked it was he couldn't remember because he parked it in '83, so 39 years ago. So
this car has been parked for twice your age.
That's correct. I'm the third owner.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is not a 318 car.
It is indeed not a 318 car. So, like I said, the hood was locked up, couldn't get it open. We're just trying to get it out of there at that point, right? Well, we get it loaded on the trailer, and my buddy Kevin went ahead and deciphered the VIN off the dash there, and he's like, "This is a 318 car." I'm like, "Well, what is it?" Right? He's like, "383." I'm like, "No way! Like, how much better could this get?" Right? Like, what are the odds? It's a big block 70 Charger that I just found, and yeah, I still can't believe it sometimes. It's crazy.
That is freaking awesome.
Yeah. So one of the videos, probably within the next month or so, will actually be getting this thing fired up. I'm close. Needs a few other little things. Been messing with the timing on it and the ignition. Had to put a new carb on it. Some other little simple stuff, but it's getting there. Been more or less focusing on the metalwork the past few weeks here. So yeah.
So it's a 2-barrel 383,
which is interesting
for fuel economy.
Yes.
Or something. Whatever they were thinking.
So they claim.
Whatever they were thinking. So what's going to go in this? Will this stay here? Will this stay big block Mopar?
I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
I don't think the 383 will stay in here, and some people are going to hate me. It's a big block Mopar, yes, it just doesn't interest me that much. I don't know. Hence, the reason I got a Chevy engine in there. I just like Chevy engines for some reason. So maybe I'll put a 4x4 in here. I don't know. 8.1, like big block / LS. That seems pretty cool. You can do some cool things with those, but I don't know. We'll see. I got a long time to think about it until it gets to the point of putting an engine in it.
You're a ways from that.
Yeah. My plan right now is to do all the sheet metal work. I'm going to do subframe connectors, mini tub it, do all that, and then I'm going to get the entire car blasted so it's back to like a solid state, and we're kind of just going to start with a fresh slate. Okay. It's kind of my plan there. So
I gotcha.
Kind of thinking, do it right or do it twice. I got no real rush to get the car done or anything, and yeah, it's going to be a cool process.
For sure. For sure. It's going to be an expensive process.
Yeah, but thankfully I've had some, nice people come on board like AMD here helping out with the sheet metal and everything. So
that's a huge help.
Stuff like that definitely makes the process go by better and makes the quality of the car obviously 100 times better. So that's been really cool so far.
This thing has this always been an Ohio car?
I don't remember. So the owner, or the guy who I bought it from, said he bought it in '80 from a dad on his son's t-ball team. So I'm assuming it was always an Ohio car. Rust definitely says Midwest.
Yeah, Midwestern car.
But yeah, I'm not sure. It was built in St. Louis. Where it went after that, I haven't exactly figured out yet. But yeah, that's all I kind of know on the backstory of the car. From what all he told me, he didn't really remember much, which I can't say I blame him. He had 4 cars to try to remember everything. So.
Well, and if he hasn't you'd done anything with it in almost 40 years.
He probably didn't even open the door in 40 years. I mean, the day he wanted to see if there was anything in the trunk he left in there. He couldn't remember. So I pulled out the back seat. I literally just like ripped it out, broke the clips off. I'm like, I don't care. I'm like covered in mouse, you know, stuff. And he was like, there's nothing in there, is there? I'm like, there's like a drill and a license plate. I'm like, you want the drill? I'm like, can I keep the license plate? He's like, yeah. So I got the license plate from it. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. What a project. What a freaking project. So this thing is pretty much done. Your Duster is pretty much, there's nothing you really need to do to this car anymore. Just drive it.
There's stuff I want to do, obviously. Like,
well, they're never done.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I mean, shoot, my original plan when I bought the car was to always put an LS in it and kind of get it to this state. So I'd like to put a 4-point cage in it. I've always wanted to do that.
Have you ever raced this car?
With the Slant 6, I took it down the strip a few times.
Oh, God.
My fastest pass with the Slant 6 was
21?
20.1.
Yeah.
So I haven't taken it with the LS yet, but I have a feeling we'll improve.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of at where it's at. I like to do, I mean, I moved the battery to the back, so I got all this space for a spinny boy eventually.
Yeah.
That's the plan right there. And then a cage, and then it's kind of, I don't know, it'll evolve over the years and stuff. I'd like to do coilovers instead of torsion bars on the front, you know, put a 9-inch with a 4-link, but I think everyone would like to do that with all of their cars at one day, so.
Yeah, but it's a built, enjoyable, fun car right now.
Yep, and this one will stay with me literally until the day I die. It is my first car, one of my 2 dream cars, no joke. How I ended up with both of them, I don't know. It still blows my mind. And yeah, this is my baby. So
that's awesome. So racing wise, are you thinking road course stuff? Or are you thinking roundy round stuff? Or are you thinking drag racing?
For this thing, I don't know. I mean, I want to keep it a street car.
Yeah.
I say that it'll eventually probably end up turning into a full-on race car. Maybe I'll just buy another Duster for a full-on race car, but I kind of like to do a little bit of everything with this car over the years. Like, that's kind of what we do with my dad's GTO, you know, like, it's his daily. We can drag race it, we take it to autocross all the time. We've taken out 11 power tours, drove to California and back twice. Like, it's
11 power tours?
Yep, ever since I think the first one I was literally 3 or 4 months old. And
Holy
I just
cow.
went on my 11th one at the age of 18 this past year. And that was the first time doing it with my car and his car, so that was pretty special.
That's awesome.
But that was cool, yeah. I don't know, just an all-around have fun car. I'd love to take it around an actual circle track one day. Obviously, you know, the livery and.
Did you do it at Atlanta?
I didn't. No, I didn't. I know, and I regret it every day. We got there so late that day, and we were hanging out talking to people. So
yeah.
That was probably worth it.
That was an excellent $50 spent.
Yeah.
Excellent. I texted Kevin. If you guys haven't seen the video from the last day when we were at Atlanta Motor Speedway in Power Tour 2022, I'll link that up here. And Kevin, Junkyard Diggs, he and I had been talking off and on all day. And other YouTuber that was also there with us, Irish Outlaw Garage, I saw him coming back from the track, and he's like, dude, that was the greatest time I've ever had. And I'm like, wait a minute, you were in your car? He's like, no, they just let me jump in somebody else's car. And it's like, they're going to let us do that? Yeah. So I immediately texted Kevin, like, get over. I called him. I'm like, dude, get over here. Jump in your car. We're going to go around the track in Atlanta. Like, best freaking $50 spent ever. Such a good time.
Should have done that. But hey, got something to look forward to next year now.
Yeah, now you just got to make sure we go to a track that's allow you to do roundy rounds.
Yeah. I'd like to do actual laps, not just,
not like
around,
stay 60 miles an hour.
Yeah,
for sure.
I just want to get a picture of this on a track. That's all I want.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Very freaking cool. Very cool. All right, so show me what's left of this.
Well, not much.
Not much.
Obviously, you saw the inside and everything. I mean, I had to cut it out. You can probably picture what it looked like beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have some opportunities. I like your.
It's like how they lowered them back in the day. Yeah.
Just brought them through the floor of the trunk.
We'll go with that. Yeah. This one, the floor just decided to go with it. So.
Nice.
At least the tail panel's in good shape. That's a plus.
Yep.
Deck lid is mint.
There's some very expensive pieces
They are.
that are still on this car.
Yeah.
Like, you have the nose over there underneath the table.
Yeah, I have literally, I have everything bagged and tagged from this car down to the headliner clips. So,
wow.
It probably all won't be going back in this car, but I'll probably end up hanging on to it, you know, for hopefully another Charger one day down the line or something. But yeah, if I ever wanted to, I could sell that stuff or, you know, keep it for another car. And that's pretty much the main reason keeping me from dropping this thing on a chassis is it was just so complete. Like,
yeah.
I hate to say it, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't bring myself to do it. I don't care about, like, you know, purist stuff or anything like that. But, like, this one I just kind of felt, I don't know, needed to, I guess, be brought back to life. I don't want to say the easy way, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to put it. It's just something I was thinking about, I guess.
It's got some opportunities.
Yeah.
But again, fortunately, you now have a partnership with Automotive Direct, which is gonna.
It's insane to say, but yeah, they're supplying pretty much all the metal needed for this car here, which is an absolutely massive help because as you can see, it needs a lot.
It needs all the metal.
It's gonna be
the outside is actually, you know, somewhat. I mean, somewhat.
At least you can't see this quarter right now. I think it was hit one day. You can kind of see where it was patched in there. Yeah, no joke, I measured. There is a 1/4 inch of Bondo on top of the quarter. So, yeah, it's getting a whole new trunk pan. It's getting new rear rails, new wheel wells, which I plan to do a mini tub on.
Yeah, I say it probably needs new rear rails.
Yep. Just got the new Torchmark cross member, new floor. It's going to get new quarters. Like, in one of my videos, I walked around. Essentially, the only thing that's going to be factory after this is deck lid from the quarter seam up on the roof, the A-pillars, filler panel right here, and then the top half of the doors because the bottom half's got to be replaced. I already replaced the outer rocker on this side, and then like 75% of the front fenders. So,
and you're doing this all yourself?
Yep. In here.
In here.
In here.
That's amazing.
Yep, with that little welder. So, making it happen, I guess.
That's awesome, man.
Thank you.
That is awesome. I gotta say, the story of this young man and the fact that he's doing this all himself in this tiny little thing, like in this tiny little space. I think we were talking a little bit briefly off camera about like the reasons that people get invested in certain channels and certain projects is it's not necessarily the cars, it's the stories behind the cars, it's the people behind the cars. And Cale with this, like, most people would never even dream of taking on a project of this scale if you had a 3-car garage with a lift and every tool known to man. This is a lot of work. And this young dude, who by the way is 18, is doing this himself. You know, the story there, the buy-in for something like that is really, to me, it's honestly inspirational. And yeah, that might be a little cheesy to say that, but it's inspirational because this is something like, this is his dream car. Like, this is his dream car, and this is his dream car. And this dude is building both of them himself. They're not given to him. He didn't just buy them on the internet and be able to do it. Like, he's building both of his own dream cars. And that's not something I don't know really many people could say.
Yeah, and I don't know. That's why I like doing it so much. That's why I won't ever let these go.
Yeah. I mean, what's it worth? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't even care if someone offered me. I mean, I've had people offer me stuff for the Duster, like, even before I did the LS and everything, and, like, wasn't probably worth that much at the time, and I'm just like, nah, like, the story of me and my dad going to pick this up and, like, my buddy helping, store it out at his place, and, like, everyone just kind of, I guess, I don't want to say knows me as, like, the orange Duster guy, but, like, you don't see many of those, I guess, around. They're not
yeah, for sure.
They're not very popular. I mean, they're out there, but it's not like, like a first-gen Camaro, which is, everywhere, like a Nova or something. But, yeah, it's just kind of cool. And
the ones you do see are not driven.
Yeah, that is accurate. I guess, well, driven like we drive these at least.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Yeah,
I totally get it. You are a kindred spirit to a bunch of us old farts. I gotta say, it's awesome. So anyway, I got to get back to Columbus. This is totally different from what we normally do. Normally, it's all about our cool cars that we build and, you know, customers' vehicles we work on. This is purely just, I met this young man on Power Tour. I love this Duster that he built. I love the story of it. Very cool dude. CAM Racing on Instagram.
Yep.
CAM Racing on YouTube. I'll link to his channel up here in the top. Go check out his stuff. If you're interested in what he does, which you probably are if you're paying attention to this channel, go follow this guy. Go subscribe to this dude. Watch what he's doing. Watch this Charger come back to life. I'm sure there will be some Duster content too.
It's going to be a good one soon.
But thanks for being here, guys. If you like this kind of stuff, let us know. If you want to see some, you know, help us to be able to facilitate other people being able to grow in this YouTube thing. Not saying we're a big channel by any means, but we could use, you know, what effect we have to be able to show off other people's cool stuff. So if you guys like to see that kind of stuff, let us know. Anyway, I mean, it's, I tell Bill Hoskinson this all the time, like, the rising tide lifts all ships. Why wouldn't we help other people who are in this hobby, who are good people, to improve and to get better and to, you know, improve their level?
Yeah.
So
that's what it's about, people, not the cars. The cars are just a cool side effect. So.
yeah. So anyway, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. If you made it this far, we appreciate you being here. I'm going to jump in my 1979 AMC Spirit AMX. She's a beaut, ain't she? I tell you what, though, like, of all the stuff I own, this is probably the most fun car to drive.
Yeah.
It's just, because you don't, like, you can just drive the hell out of it and not really worry about it.
That's the best.
It's so fun.
It's so
so
unique
fun.
and so cool, and
it's so fun.
it's awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for being here. We'll see you later. Take care. We're gonna go for a quick little ride. Very cool. Thank you, sir.
Of course, of course.